Today we're going to start a brand new series where we build our own artificial intelligence assistant completely from scratch. And the best part? Everything runs locally on our own computer. No OpenAI account. No API key. No monthly subscription. And no internet connection required after the model has been downloaded. By the end of this series we'll have our own ChatGPT-style desktop application built entirely with CSharp, WinForms, Net 10 and Ollama. Let's see what we'll be building. We can type a question. Press Ask. And a local AI model generates a response directly on our machine. Now let's build it. Before we start coding, let's understand what Ollama actually is. Ollama is a free application that allows us to run large language models directly on our computer. Normally when we use services like ChatGPT, our prompts are sent to a cloud server. The AI runs somewhere else. With Ollama everything runs locally. The model is downloaded once and then executed on your machine. This gives us more privacy, no recurring costs, fast responses, and complete control over the models we use. Now let's make the needed installation on our PC. Open your browser. Navigate to Ollama. Download the Windows installer. Run the setup. The installation only takes a few moments. Once completed, open command prompt. Let's verify everything works. Type Ollama version. You should now see the installed version. Next we need a model. For beginners I recommend Ollama Pull Llama 3.2. Press enter. Depending on your internet connection the download may take several minutes. Once finished we can test it immediately. Type Ollama run Llama 3.2. Now ask, what is CSharp? Notice how the AI responds directly inside the console. This confirms our model is working correctly. Historically, Ollama started as a command-line focused tool. Most of the older documentation, blog articles and tutorials were created before the modern user interface existed. Command-line commands are also very easy to document. They work on Windows, Linux, and Mac, and many developers automate model installation through scripts. But there is also a simpler approach. Instead of opening command prompt and typing commands manually, we're going to use the Ollama user interface. This is especially helpful if you're new to AI development or if your main goal is learning CSharp and WinForms. You'll notice that we can immediately browse available models. So you see that Llama 3.2 is already installed, because we did it already over the command window. If a model isn't installed yet, that's not a problem. Let's select one now. For example, I'm going to choose Gemma 4. Notice that I haven't downloaded it yet. Now watch what happens. I'll simply type a message like hello and press send. Ollama automatically starts downloading the model for us. We don't need to run any commands. We don't need to remember model names. We simply choose a model and start chatting. Once the download finishes, the model immediately responds. That's probably the easiest way to get started with local AI today. And there's another advantage. The Ollama interface continues to improve and makes experimenting with different models incredibly simple. You can switch between coding models, reasoning models, vision models and lightweight models with only a few clicks. For advanced users, the command line tools are still available and extremely useful. Later in the series we'll even use some of those capabilities directly from our CSharp application. But for now, I want to keep things simple and focus on what really matters. building our own AI-powered desktop application. So now that we've confirmed Ollama is installed, working correctly, and capable of downloading models automatically, let's head over to Visual Studio and start building our WinForms project. Now that Ollama is installed and we have a model ready to use, it's time to start building our own application. Open Visual Studio and create a brand new project. Choose Windows Forms app and make sure you're targeting Net 10. For the project name, I'm going to use Ollama Assistant. Then click Create. Once Visual Studio finishes generating the project, we can begin designing our user interface. For this first version, we're going to keep things simple. Drag a text box onto the form and name it Text Prompt. This will be where the user enters their question. Set the multiline property to true so we have plenty of room for larger prompts. Next, add another text box and name it Text Response. This is where we'll display the AI's response. Set multiline to true, read only to true, and enable vertical scroll bars so longer responses can be viewed easily. Finally, add a button and name it BTN, Ask. Change the text property to Ask AI. At this point we already have everything we need for a very basic AI assistant. Before we start building our application, let's take a look at some of the most popular models available through Ollama and understand which one might be the best fit for your projects. One of the biggest questions beginners ask is, which model should I use? The answer depends entirely on what you're trying to accomplish. Let's start with one of the most popular options available today. Llama 3.2 from Meta. This is probably the model I would recommend to most beginners. It comes in multiple sizes ranging from very small models all the way up to extremely powerful versions. Llama 3.2 is a fantastic all-rounder. It's great for chat applications, coding assistance, reasoning tasks, and general productivity. If you've used ChatGPT before, you can think of the larger Llama 3.2 models as being surprisingly close to the overall experience you get from GPT-4 class models. If you're only going to download one model after watching this video, Llama 3.2 is an excellent choice. Next we have Llama 3.1. This model is focused even more heavily on reasoning and complex tasks. It performs extremely well when working with larger contexts, complicated instructions, and multi-step problem solving. The larger versions can produce results that are genuinely impressive and often comparable to some of the most advanced cloud-based AI systems available today. If you need maximum intelligence and your hardware can handle it, Llama 3.1 is definitely worth exploring. Now let's look at Gemma 2 from Google. Gemma is all about efficiency. It's lightweight, fast, and doesn't require a powerful computer to run. This makes it a fantastic option for laptops, lower-end desktops, and applications where speed is more important than absolute intelligence. Think of Gemma as a smaller assistant that gets the job done quickly without consuming huge amounts of memory. Next up is Mistral Large. Mistral has become extremely popular among developers because it performs exceptionally well in coding, mathematics, and reasoning tasks. It also supports multiple languages and delivers very high-quality responses. If your primary focus is software development or technical projects, Mistral is definitely a model you should try. Now let's talk about Phi 3 from Microsoft. This model is surprisingly powerful for its size. Microsoft designed Phi to be efficient, safe, and practical. It's especially useful for educational applications, coding assistance, and productivity tools. If you want strong performance without requiring massive hardware resources, Phi is an excellent option. Next we have Qwen. Qwen is known for its multilingual capabilities. If you're working with different languages or building applications for an international audience, Qwen is often one of the strongest choices available. It also performs well for coding, reasoning, and long conversations. Then we have Yi. Yi is a strong general-purpose model that works well for knowledge questions, creative writing, and everyday conversations. It sits somewhere between lightweight and high-performance models, making it a very balanced option. Now let's talk about a model that many developers love. Code Llama. As the name suggests, Code Llama is designed specifically for programming tasks. It understands many programming languages and can help with code generation, debugging, explanations, and software architecture. If your goal is to build coding tools or development assistance, Code Llama should definitely be on your list. Finally we have Java. This is where things get really interesting. Unlike traditional text-only models, Java can understand images. You can upload a picture and ask questions about it. For example, you could upload a screenshot, a diagram, a user interface design, or even a photograph and have the model explain what it sees. This opens the door to creating AI-powered image analysis tools directly inside your WinForms applications. So which model should you choose? If you're just getting started, I recommend Llama 3.2 as your first download. If coding is your primary focus, try Code, Llama. If you need something lightweight and fast, Gemma is a great option. And if you want maximum intelligence and have powerful hardware available, explore the larger Llama 3.1 models. One important thing to remember is model size. Smaller models are faster and require less memory. Larger models are generally smarter, but they need significantly more RAM and sometimes a dedicated GPU. As a rough guideline, small models can run comfortably on most modern computers. Medium-sized models typically need around 16 GB of memory. Large models often require 32 GB or more. The biggest models may need dedicated graphics hardware for the best experience. The great thing about Ollama is that you can experiment with all of these models directly on your own machine. Now let's connect our application to Ollama. Open the new Get Package Manager. Search for OllamaSharp and install the latest version. This package provides a simple way to communicate with the Ollama service running on our computer. Once the installation is complete, open form1.cs. At the top of the file, add the OllamaSharp namespace. Next, inside the form class, create a private Ollama API client field. This object will be responsible for sending prompts and receiving responses from our local AI model. Inside the constructor, after initialize component, create a new Ollama API client instance. We're connecting to localhost on port 11434, which is where Ollama runs by default. For the model name, we're using Llama 3.2. Of course, if you've downloaded a different model, simply replace the name with the model you're using. Now let's make our button actually do something. Double-click the Ask AI button to generate the click event. Inside the event handler, we'll wrap everything inside a try-catch block. This helps us handle any errors gracefully. When the button is clicked, we send the contents of text prompt to Ollama and wait for a response. Once the response arrives, we display it inside text, response. And that's really all there is to it. Let's test the application. Press Start. Type a question into the prompt box. For example, explain what WinForms is. Now click Ask AI. A few moments later, the response appears directly inside our application. And just like that, you've connected a local AI model to a WinForms application using CSharp and Net 10. No cloud services. No API keys. No monthly costs. Everything is running directly on your own machine. This may look like a simple application right now, but we've already completed the hardest part. We've successfully connected our application to a local large language model. In the next part of this series, we'll take things much further. We'll transform this basic prompt tool into a complete ChatGPT-style application with conversation history, streaming responses, model selection, and a much more modern user experience. I'll see you in part 2.